All right, everyone, how's it going today? Please let me know if the music is a little bit too loud. But today we're going to be looking at different dumb phones. We're going to be just comparing some of the maps applications that we have gone and we have seen before. And essentially we're doing this because the light phone right here finally got its little navigation directions app. So, wanted to decide to just check it out just a little bit. And again, if you have any questions, please just, let me know. And we'll be testing some of the different modes. And if you have any extra things that you want to check out, please let me know and we'll work it out. And please let me know if the music is a little bit too loud or too quiet. Yeah, I'll appreciate that. So as you see here, this is the AGM M7. This is the Sunbeam F1. And right here we have the Light Phone 2. And we're just going to check out how they work, what they do. And again, if you have any questions, please make sure to put it in the chat and we'll be showcasing those. So let's start with the AGM M7 and a little bit of like how it works on the navigation. Just like kind of like standalone. We're going to work it out. Let me put it out of focus so that it works just a little bit better. So essentially here I have installed this application here, the Maps app, which is an open source map application essentially. And hey Gaurav, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. And as you see, it gets my location right there and everything else. I think the AJM line is kind of like the best one so far, or the best one that I've tried. I personally like it a lot. And yeah, I mean, I personally enjoy using the browser here because it has a touch screen, so it's just like better to use. So if I search for, something specific, let's say Starbucks, I'm always down to get a cup of coffee. Let's check it out right there. It's gonna look for it, and boom, right there, it gives me the location, and then I click, and then you can, of course, get directions to do that. Keep active. Don't use. Boom, right there. It's going to give you the navigation and everything that you need to do in order to get there from your position. So honestly, I mean, I really like it. I really enjoy all the time. I think this it's not in focus, and I'm just trying to make sure that it is. Let me know if it looks blurry to me. Ah, there it is. That's better. Boom, right there. All right. Perfect. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so you have that right there, and of course you click start. It's gonna take you wherever you gotta go. So that's the first example, and these are the Android devices. All of these are Android based to a certain degree. So we're just gonna take a look at it. By the way, please let me know if the music is distracting or is too loud. I'm just testing this new kind of thing. Yes. Colin, I'm able to compare them to the Wise phone. I'll be pulling in, and I think it needs to be charged, but in the meantime, we're just gonna play around with these, and then we'll take a look. So this is the AGM M7, right? You can install pretty much any maps application, either from F-Droid, or you can download something like Aurora Store, and then you can use it, and then you're good to go. So that's one alternative. Then you have the Sunbeam F1 right here. Navigation. This one uses Here Maps in order to navigate, and you can kind of do the same, right? Let's say we're gonna look for Starbucks. Oh, this one has the T9. Starbucks. Nope, it's not liking it. Okay, let's spell it instead of using the XT9. Let's use that. S T A R B I think I didn't switch it into the mode, but let's go with that. Okay, boom, right there. Perfect. It finds it. So now you will find the route. And again, you have right there navigation. It teaches you how to go to it. So it's pretty seamless, right? And it works decently well. You can also look for other things, enter coordinates, enter an address, you know, and things of that nature. And one thing that you need to know about this one specific, like the Sunbeam device, is that it's paid. So you are paying maybe like, I think it's $3.50 for their excellent voice to text and their Maps application. So these are like the premium features, if you will. So that's that for this one. Just kind of showcasing how it works. So we're gonna close it, and then, like, you know, after that we'll see. And then we're gonna do the same with the light phone. Directions, Starbucks, and then boom, right there, it gives you the results. And if you want to expand the search area, you can do that. But let's click the first one, start. Oh, you can change the mode too, by the way. So as you saw right there, I put walking, so this one's going to be done walking, but I can change it to driving, and then you'll be able to see it right there. Boom, it changes like the way that it does. And then you can also do public transit. Now the change here with public transit is that it's not going to give it to me because my town doesn't have public transit. So it's going to be an error getting the route, because I mean, we do have public transit, just not where I live, you know. So there's two modes. We have the driving mode, right? Like, you know, let's put it there, and it's gonna tell you like the next direction as you move on. But it also has a map mode, and this one's gonna be a little bit more like refreshing, right? Like you can move around, like take a look. If you click there, it's gonna give you kind of like the steps of how to get there. Boom, right there. See, it shows you how to get from point A to point B, like the full route. But you can put it like pinpoint your location, and then of course we're gonna exit right there. So that's kind of like how the maps work. I personally have found that, I mean, I use the light phone as my personal device, so I personally enjoy that. But all of them work decently well. All of them work excellently, you know, and I'm just really kind of like excited that mainly all dumb phones now have an ability, or at least the majority has an ability to have maps, and I think that's very good. I'll check in your questions, and I'm gonna get that Wise phone so you can take a look into like how it works and all of that, just to kind of like take a look into it. But just give me a second. Okay. Perfect. I found it. I just need to look for the charger, and then we should be good to go. I'll put it to charge on this side. I have a bunch of phones and chargers and stuff like that. It looks like the old Nextel phone seems sturdier than the others. How's the weight compared to the light phone? Well, I don't know which one you're talking about. I think you're talking about maybe like so both of these are a little bit heavier than the light phone. This is the Sunbeam, right? And this is the AGM. The AGM is definitely heavier than the light phone, but it has kind of like that amazing speaker on the back, and, you know, super useful most of the time. Like, you know, I really love that. But let me charge this one up. All right, we're charging the Wise phone. It should be back on probably, you know, in the next, I don't know, next couple minutes. It should at least have a 2-3% to kind of give us a little bit of kind of like a comparison and you know, talk about it. But if you guys have any questions, please make sure to, you know, drop the questions. We're just going to be talking about this. Would I get the light phone without a case? Ernest. Honestly, that's a good question. I wouldn't. I'm clumsy. Like, I drop things. I literally dropped this yesterday. You know, and it was fine. It was all right. But yeah, I wouldn't use it without a case. I would just buy it. It's $25, you know, and you can even get like other cases that are not necessarily like the official one. Like, there's a wallet case that some people made. It's a little more expensive. The donation box, and I guess that zombie just came up, and it's gonna have to stay there now for at least for this stream. But yeah, you know, like I'm really kind of like hoping that things get better into like the whole dumb phone space, and that more phones have maps, or kind of like something available. Paulo, welcome. You know, hello from Portugal. I think obrigado por, how do you say view? Mirar or something like that. I know Spanish, so, you know, something like that. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us today. So if you guys have any questions, please, you know, just check it out. I think the music went out. Let me adjust that. I'm gonna have to, maybe I'll do something different. All right. Oh, that hurt. And sorry if my camera, like right here, is not the best. It's just a matter of like, um, you know, I don't have my camera with me. Um, the two camera systems, like, you know, I only have one. I'll just loop this around, and, you know, we'll keep playing some of this music. So again, let me know if the music is a little bit loud, or, you know, if you need, like, if you like it, or if you want me to change the mood. All right, let's do this again. Instrumental only. Go. All right. Let's continue with our. Let's continue with a little bit of our just comparison. So kind of looking like what's faster to. So let's say that I'm trying to get to a place, and of course accuracy is important, but like let's say that I'm trying to get there fast, right? Like, you know, I'm trying to type. I would say that the Light Phone has the best system, just because you have that QWERTY keyboard, right? Like, you know, and you're able to type faster than the other two. One thing that I personally don't necessarily like about the AGM is that, yeah, it has the touch screen, but the problem is, like, when you're using some of the apps and you're trying to type something, then you're defaulted to the keys, and it doesn't have T9, so it's kind of like just a little bit more, a little bit difficult to kind of like work it out in there. We're going to be testing other phones, you know, so please let me know if you have any phones in specific that you want to take a look into. We have the Wise phone coming in just a second, as soon as it gets charged. I just charged the two that I thought would be better. But a couple of extra things for these devices when it comes to navigation is the AGM M7 uses any app that you want to install. These two use the same database. So this uses Here Maps. The Light Phone team uses Here Maps, and also the Sunbeam team. This one's free, so it does cost the Light Phone team something, right? And this one you have to pay. It's kind of like a premium feature from the guys at Sunbeam. That's a little bit of a drawback, but again, you know, it's $3. I think it's not going to be very difficult. Paulo, you're asking if the Light Phone works with GPS real-time position. Yes, it is real-time position. It follows you. It changes kind of like the directions. You can take a look at the video that I posted yesterday about it. And essentially, you know, I'm just doing kind of like a live comparison into it. But yeah, it does have live. You know, it follows you. It shows you. It goes on the way. I personally would say don't use it like that all the time, because it's going to be like, let's say you get a Light Phone, right? And you're trying to use the GPS all the time and just going and going and going forever. I wouldn't do that, just personally, because the phone will get hot, the battery, you will deplete it super quick. So use the map view. I'll showcase what the map view looks like, or step-by-step view, whichever way you wanna call it. So like right here, you know, this is offline mode, so it didn't catch my location, but oh no, we're calculating. So this is how it looks for just kind of like one part of it, and that is the best view. So if you keep it on this view, it's not going to kill the battery as much. Like, as you'll still deplete it every so often, right? Like, you know, it will go down, but it's not going to be crazy. Like, it's going to last way longer than if you go into the map view. If you go into the map view, it's going to locate the position, and whenever you move, it's going to move with you. Or you can look at, like, you know, the overall kind of like where you're going and like the maps. It's still black and white. It's not going to show any color, you know, but it does work. Let me put this a little bit lower. The music just a little bit lower. Let me get the genre of this. Boom, right here. Okay, there you go. Perfect. There you go. So, it does have some of this, right? It does have some of like this features as well, but I would say just use the regular step-by-step view, just the arrows. It's good enough. And like, I mean, if you're walking, it's even better. I would say like that's kind of like the best use. And it also has, it talks to you. So like if you go into a different direction, it recalculates, and it says turn left, turn right, does all the things. And I mean, I personally find it super useful, right? Same thing for the Sunbeam, right? Sunbeam F1. It works decently well. I never had any issues when testing the maps personally, and it has gotten better and better just as more of the updates have come by. Kaios has that issue where I think it follows you, but it doesn't really have like good directions. I think it just kind of gives you like the next direction, but it's still like following you along the lines. But it's not full featured navigation with Kaios. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I actually have the Nokia 6300 4G, so I guess we can give it a spin in just a second. After that one charges, I'll put this to charge so that you can look at the differences. But these are the best three phones when it comes to directions. So if you need maps, if you need something like absolutely, then get these three. One of these three is probably going to be your best option. Something that I like about the Sunbeam is that it has favorites. So if you want to look specifically into your favorites or the things that you're looking for a lot of times, then it's going to save those things, and you can find the route. You can adjust some of the settings, right? I think I should show you the settings. Then you can change the route to shortest, fastest, or balanced, which is just kind of going to share a little bit more of that. The algorithm, right? It's going to just say, okay, well, this is the best route. That's the best route. It's going to balance it out. It's going to reroute according to the traffic, things like that. Set home location. You can set the home location as well, wherever you're at. Let's go through a couple more extra settings on this one and show you the other settings as well. You can download maps, which it's great because you can use it as offline mode. The same goes for the light phone, but I think it does it a little bit differently, of course. But we're taking North America, South America, Africa, wherever you go, you can choose your navigation voice. It definitely has way more features on the Sunbeam F1. So Sunbeam F1 has a lot more features on the light phone, but I'm pretty sure all of these features are going to eventually come to the light phone because they're based on the same platform. Again, here maps based on the same platform. So I'm pretty sure the light phone team is going to kind of like continue bringing features to this amazing tool that they just released, right? Besides that, you can use the metric units or, imperial units, things of that nature. All right, so let me show you some of the settings for the light phone. Let's see. All right. So we have the settings. Oh, and also a couple of extra things that just got updated as well I'll be showcasing. One thing that got updated was that you can now reboot Light OS. So let's say that your phone is buggy. You go to your settings, and then you can reboot the Light OS. Boom. Not the device, so it's not turning it back on and back off and on, but it's just the application, just the Light OS, rebooting it, and then probably just have to do this, and it will do something. I guess it's going from like a cold start. I've never done it. This is the first time, so I'm doing it on camera. See how it works. There you go. All right, so it rebooted successfully. Perfect. Now we're gonna take a look, settings, and it should speed up your device. Then you're gonna have your preferences, tools. You can edit the tools. So if you want music up, you can put it up. If you want podcasts up, you can just adjust it to your preferences. I personally like these three at the top because they're the ones that are going to use the most, and you go back and that's it. I think somebody asked if you could do the phone and the settings, right? Phone and settings, if you can reorganize those. And I think that Joe said that they're looking into it because I think they thought that was a good suggestion. So that may be coming in the future. Let's look at the settings for the directions. We have GPS mode or offline mode. Essentially, GPS mode is when it's following you. Offline mode is just using kind of like that general area where you're at. That's about it. Let's see, imperial or metric. So you can change it right there. You have voice commands. Turn it on, turn it back off and on, whichever you prefer. Here, data sharing. With your permission, we can share info about your trip, so and so. It's going to be anonymous. This is not required, so you can deny it or you can accept it. And also you have the GPS details. If the directions tool was just installed, your device was powered on, it may take some time to get the initial lock. It's kind of like saying that this happens with a lot of phones too, that, sometimes it takes a while for the positioning to get locked on, and depending on, how far it is. I mean, you saw it right there when a couple of minutes ago when we were trying to set offline mode first, so just give a list of directions. But the GPS locked in, and boom, it kind of like kicked me to GPS mode after that. You can also have the location status. It's going to be doing the location in the background, telling you where you're at. You can just kind of like do a test, and then it's going to ping that location faster if you're trying to use GPS mode. And then share log report. It's if you're trying to share, like, let's say you have an issue with the GPS tool, and you're working with kind of like the different things. Then you share the log report with the Light Phone team, and they're probably going to help you. Got a couple questions. Let's see. Don't understand why it's not the same. Oh, yeah. We already went through that, Paulo. Do you have in your hands a red 2720? No, I don't. I have a black 2720B. That's all I have from the Verizon version. But I heard those are kind of rare. So, yeah. No, I don't have a 2720 with me. Sam Shut, what model of the flip phone, please? Can't quite see it. Oh, yeah, sure. This is the Orchid from Sunbeam. So, Sunbeam F1. So the Sunbeam F1 is the model, and you can get maps. I'll go through a couple of things. Voicemail, voicemail. This one's visual voicemail too. That's actually something that I really enjoy. So you can call VM, but you can also set it up, and it's visual voicemail depending on your provider. If you put Verizon, it's gonna have visual voicemail, which I think is super cool, super neat especially for a flip phone. You have call history, contacts, messaging. Alarm clock, calendar, voice reminder, calculator, notes, flashlight, files, camera, sound recorder, music, navigation, weather, sync, things of that nature. And it has, again, very, very nice features. Let's check if there's an update. They haven't updated in nope, no updates available. We're up to date. They haven't updated in a little while, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, the Sunbeam F1, very good to use. It's super great. Javier, we're going to get to your question. ¿Qué diferencias en cuanto a uso diario podrías destacar entre el CMI Z1 y Queen 1S? What differences I can tell between the ZMI Z1 and the Queen 1S? Personally, I would say the Queen 1S is super basic, like don't think that you're going to be installing apps into it. Even though you can, you'll be able to install just one app. And that's it. The ZMI Z1 has more RAM, more power, if you will, to kind of use all of that. It's more akin to a GMM7. So think about it like that. Just, of course, in a different package. So yeah, personally, I will say ZMI Z1 is better, and the Queen 1S it's just super basic. It depends on what you want. Now there's another phone coming up called the Xiaomi F21 Pro, and that one has a touchscreen and it's candy bar and it's very well made. So I'm kind of super excited to take a look into it because it's completely different from what I've tested in the past, and I'm kind of like super excited to just kind of like give it a look, to be honest. So take a look into it. I got it from Alibaba because the ones on AliExpress, they were sold out. And actually, I've been told, not confirmed yet, of course, with these things, they may drop it one day, or like they do some of the other things, like their announcements later. But I've been told that there's going to be two versions of that phone, the Xiaomi F21 Pro. One of them is not going to have any Google apps, and one of them will have Google apps for people that enjoy, using some of those kind of like Google features. So if you're that kind of person, that's what it is. Let me see if that phone is charging, the Wise phone, and then we'll continue looking at other phones. Oh, perfect. actually have battery. I just didn't know that. 98%. That's plenty good. And then I'll show you, I'm going to definitely charge the Nokia to see some of the Kaios navigation. All right. Abhinav, welcome. Welcome. You know, you are here. Yes. I really want to switch to a dumb phone, but still in some other apps. When will you get the Quint F21 Pro review up? Really thinking of getting one. Yatema. Yeah, it's on the way. You know, sometimes it takes a while, especially with phones coming from China. So it could be here like next week. It could be here like 3 weeks from now. And I'm just kind of like not too sure. I'm gonna get a review out. Once I get it, you know, I'll test it. I usually test for a week, 2 weeks if it's necessary, you know, if like I really notice that there's something very specific, right? But yeah, I mean, I'll get it out as soon as I get the phone. I'm gonna do the testings, you know, do everything that I do, make sure that I test the battery life and all of that good stuff. So, you know, I'll get the F21. There's some videos out there already of the F21, but you know, I personally haven't. I don't have my hands on it, and like I cannot compare it to other phones. But we're gonna continue doing some of these live streams. I feel way better about the way this one looks than the previous one, just because I had it all set up. Still, I'm not super satisfied with the webcam, but I mean, it's a webcam. Gotta do. I know I look super overblown here just because I'm using the light source from here, you know, and. It is what it is, you know. These are just for just community building and also kind of like more in-depth look into it. Okay, this is loading, so it's gonna load whenever it is. Sometimes the Wise phone, well, at least this version. I don't want to talk like or say that all Wise phones are the same because they're not. But at least my version has always had like little issues here and there, you know, like right now it's acting up, for example. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, this is odd. I haven't had this happen. Let's see what we can do. Does the light phone have Spanish language? Not yet. I'm no tabs. Not yet. I'm going to restart this. Maybe that will make it work. But no tiene español todavía. The light phone doesn't have Spanish yet. But that's another project, you know, they're trying to do. And they're kind of like, you know, working it out. But no Spanish yet for the light phone as of now. Testing this Wise phone, I don't know, guys. I mean, it is kind of odd. Never had it happen. You know, always turns on pretty fine. I haven't used it in a couple weeks, so maybe that's why it's acting up and whatnot. But we'll see. Hopefully it works. So we can take a look at the navigation. Please, any other questions? Make sure to put them there. Yatema says that the F21 runs Mocore Android 11, but in a feature phone and touch tab. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Let's see. Hopefully this works. Let's try it. Okay. Come on. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. This has never happened. This is the first time that this has happened. I'm going to try and see what's going on here. As you see, well, see, before the Wise phone got released, they said that, you know, you cannot get into it, but it's clearly you're able to get into, you know, some of the things when it comes to the settings and other things that are not as secure. I don't know why it's blinking like this. I'm going to have to reach out to them and see what they can do, because this is the first time that I actually have seen this. I think it's blocking me from accessing the settings. As you see, it's kind of like going back and forth. Maybe this is a new feature in order to like not allow people to get out of the main view, but I don't even have access to the main view. So sorry guys. this is very unfortunate. I'm going to have to reach out to them and see if I have a defective unit or if they pushed out an update or something like that. As you see, like site key settings. Yep, it keeps blocking me out and I don't know why. Okay, well, that works. Okay, got the volume. No, I don't know. I'm just gonna push it aside. No idea. Just so you know, your video doesn't have a gift donate option, at least on my page. Just share, save, report, and join. Yeah, that's fine, no problem. I mean, it's no big issue. I'm not necessarily like. I mean, I appreciate whenever somebody donates, but you donated earlier. I'm kind of like maybe it's not letting you for some other reason. But I got your donation. I think it was like $2. So yeah, no, thanks a lot for that. I appreciate when any of you donates. Just keeps me operating and getting new dumb phones so I can review them. So, you know, hey, don't feel pressure for having to do like a super thanks or like I know there's so many ways that, you know, like you can donate to your streamers and creators and stuff like that. Sam, has anyone used the Nokia 8000? We have for under $100 here in Australia, but the 6300 model was not released here. So the 8000 is pretty similar to the 6300, Sam. It's literally just very similar internally. It just has a different design. That's about it. And honestly, like I personally prefer the 8000. I don't have one because they haven't released it here in the US. I'm trying to get my hands on one from the UK and kind of like compare it, but it's very similar. Whatever you have seen in the reports on the 6300, you will see in the 8000. Actually, the 8000 is a little bit even better because it contains less bloatware than the 6300. So that's something, you know, kind of like to keep in mind. Let me check on this phone, see if it's kind of ready for prime time. Yeah, we'll see. So let's check out some Kaios, hopefully. And again, if you guys have any questions, please just let me know. We're just here chilling and just having a good time with the maps tools from the different dumb phones that we have. I should charge the Kaios. Yes. Or let me see if it has any battery from the last time that we were using it. Let's see. Nope, low battery. All right, perfect. Let me charge the Kaios, and we're going to be testing the maps on this one too. This one charges quick, so it should be fast. All right, here we have the Punkt MP02. If you're interested or have any questions, also I have it available. Yeah, this is odd. The battery on this one may not be charging very well. I'm gonna put the be right back. All right, we're back. I'm still charging the 6300. It seems like it's not cooperating very well. But let's see what this one says. All right, so we have the Punkt here. Got 34% battery, perfect. So this is the Punkt MP02. For those of you who don't know, very good device, but it doesn't have any maps. So how would you access maps on a device that doesn't have any maps? Well, there is a different method for those of you, at least in the United States. Here, let me look at the phone number. So there's this guy called We Develop, and he created this. I mean, I thought that was like super smart. It's like you can message a phone number and ask for directions. I think I've showcased it before. So I'm gonna send some phone, just some text in order to kind of like showcase it. All right, so phone. The number is 312. All right, 312 313 1234. Perfect. Perfect. Now let's go into, let's say, for example, that you're trying to drive from, you know, kind of like drive from Atlanta to Chattanooga, right? And so you're trying to do a trip. You're going to send a text message. And then after a while, it's going to give you kind of like some directions, right? So like, hey, it's going to tell you like what your directions via text are. This is kind of like offline mode on the light phone, but even kind of like more rudimentary for sure, because it's not a list nicely designed for the phone specifically. It's just a list of text messages, right? So let's go up. So, hey, okay, estimated time right there, an hour, 48 minutes. South, capital west, square southwest, turn left, turn right. You know, it's going to give you all of that. So we're going to test that out kind of like on the directions side of things. Let's say that. Let's use only offline mode, so you guys can take a look into like how it all works. So we're going to look for Starbucks. Right there. We're just going to start. Right there. Boom. Right there. So it's just going to be a list of directions. And you can also look at the map. And it's going to tell you like, okay, this is how it looks. Every time that you have to like, you know, do a change. Of course, it's going to do a refresh. And sometimes people find it annoying. But honestly, I mean, you kind of have to just do what it is. Right? But I think it's good. You have an offline mode. I prefer offline mode for battery reasons personally. So just letting you know, like that's kind of like a preferred system for me, just because battery is going to last better. The phone is just going to, you know, kind of have like a better time instead of like pinging the GPS all the time. Imagine the GPS model communicating with the data and all of that, you know, just going back and forth. It's going to make the phone warm. And it's not going to run super great. So just kind of like a word of advice. If you have a iPhone 2 and try to use the directions tool, try to use the offline mode. It's probably going to be better. Let's see. You guys have questions or comments? 800 Tough is better looking than the 6300 8000. Yeah. I mean, some people prefer it for sure. Let's see, form factor. Does the iPhone 2 have voice messaging, voice texting, or speech to text? Not yet, Ernest. I have seen it work. So if you go to a live stream that I did with Joe, when was it? I think it was maybe like last year. He was starting to showcase some of those extra features that they're trying to bring. And he is trying to bring voice to text. So the team... he and the team and everybody working at Light, they're trying to work out speech to text, voice to text, and messaging into the equation. I think it's going to be even better, right? Like at that point. Let's see. Any news on the Sun being incorporating a podcast tool? Speaking of which, what happened to the Dumbphone show? Oh, yeah. The podcast is on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but I'll find some extra guests in order to just talk about, you know, some of that. But yeah, more podcasts will be coming very soon. I just haven't had time, you know, work and different things have gotten my attention. So yeah, right now I've just been busy, but more podcasts will be coming on. Sunbeam, I don't think they're going to be incorporating the podcast tool anytime soon. I think their plan is just to stick with the music and maybe introduce a more advanced Sunbeam device that has kind of like more openness, podcast, email, like, you know, all of that kind of stuff, and which I think is going to be even better, right? Like, you know, they're going to have an extra option to choose from. So not right now. I don't think they're coming with a podcast tool, but their music tool is supposed to get better. That's for sure. Let's see. I'm working on a search engine special for Dumbphones. Okay, that's cool. Null, thank you for doing that. I mean, we would be very thankful if you are able to pull that off. Punked is 4G, so it's not just 4G, but it's not 3G only. It's also 4G. So Null, if you're working on that kind of like special, just hit me up, send me an email, you know, and we'll kind of like take a look into it. More questions. Let's see. Have you reviewed a jailbroken iPhone 4S as a dumb phone? Navigation there should be fine, but how dumb can it get? I personally think that you can definitely use iPhones as dumb phones, or even Androids as dumb phones, as long as, you know, you remove most of the smart features and things of that nature. But no, I haven't used a 4S. That's kind of like an older device. I don't have one. I think the oldest iPhone that I have in the house, from like the old ones that I used to have or my wife used to have, I think it's like an iPhone 5, like the good old 5 or 5S, something like that. And I mean, it still works, and you're not going to be able to install the latest apps, but, you know, you'll be able to install a thing here or two. Let me get the Kaios DirectV so we can continue comparing this navigation features. Hopefully it's getting a lot of charge, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Has enough charge, I think, in order to showcase what it can do. It's like 5%, but once we're done with it, kind of like showcasing, we will we'll get to it. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see what we got right here. All right, let's go to menu. Oh, software update. This is why you pay $240. You get a software update every so often. Honestly, I think that's why, like, the more expensive dumb phones are more expensive, is because they're going to get more support. And Kaios always supports, which I really love. Let's go to Tools, Business Tools. And right here is the Maps application. As you see, I have installed Signal. I have installed Visor, F-Droid, and Osman, which is the same thing that I installed on the right here on the AGM-M7. But like right here, so no, not push to talk. I don't want that. Yeah, I know its power is too low. I get that. Come on. Business Tools. Osman Plus. So there you have it. But since I don't have a touchscreen, it's going to be harder to navigate. It's still possible, but it's going to be harder. As you see, you have to kind of like find the correct controls. Let's see what we can do. Ah, there it is. See, as I said, it's like sometimes it's hard because how do you get to the right control at the right time? I'm trying to push like different buttons in order to make that menu pop back up. There it is. And then you can, come on. It's not letting me. I think it's just because it's delayed. So I think it's going back and forth from the past. Ah, there it is. And not usable. Nope. It's not going to let me use it. Okay. So not very usable, right? But you do have an alternative. And that is using the browser. So right here, let's see. We're going to use maps. Boom. No, I want all. And right there, Google Maps, browser. And if we want to get directions, we can get directions without an issue. Let's say we're going to go to Atlanta. I always like to put that because it's like kind of like what I always have to do. All right, Atlanta. Okay. From my location, yeah. That's what I'm hoping. Alright, I'm just gonna put a different location so that I'll see if it pings my location. Sometimes it doesn't. There it is, it's loading. Because this has a GPS module, so it should work. I mean, at least I made it work in the past. Maybe it's taking that extra little time. I'm just gonna put a different place. Let's see. Boom. I know you guys cannot see that section right there. And I'm also trying to, like, you know. That's the phone I have. You need the cursor, LOL. I mean, apps or flip mouse. Oh, yes, I do remember that. But boom, right there. Okay. So you can look for 2 different points. Navigating the app. Show map. It's going to prompt to navigate. And then install. Okay. I think we're installing some extra things from the F-Droid store just to kind of like have all of that. Right. Navigate and app. Let's see what it does. Huh. This is odd. I hadn't, this didn't happen last time. You will look at the steps. And I guess like that's all you can do. That's interesting. That's super interesting because last time that I did this, and I actually have it on video on this specific video, is that it worked. So yeah, I don't remember what I did last time. Anyways, so maps, you have some kind of like maybe some alternative for maps. Oh, sorry about that. But you can install also other applications via the kind of like F-Droid store, right? So I would use my computer to kind of hide the cursor, or as Noel has said, you need the App Store flip, which is I believe like we can go into there. I'll set it up later, but apps. For flip. Boom, right there. Apps for flip. Where is that mouse? Sorry if it's a little bit too boring right now, guys. I'm just trying to find like how this all works. Because I believe I had it working before. And it's just not working right now. Ah, there it is. Apps. Boom. There you go. Okay. Apps for flip. And then we should have the launcher. That's not what we want. We want the mouse. It's one of these here. Ah, I think it's this one. Apps for flip mouse. There you go. Ah. It's you only are able to use it via the command line. Okay, so I'm gonna have to activate the command line later. I'm gonna have to do this later, guys, and I'll just showcase it next time that we're live. A mouse for your flip phone. It's a mouse for your flip phone to activate. First run these commands after installation. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it later, but thanks for that recommendation. null. I'm just gonna have to get into the ADB stuff, the developer options and all that good stuff. All right. Well, so that was that for the Kaios. It does have the ability to install a Maps application. I will set up that mouse maybe a little bit later on. Let me see. You know what? Let me see if we can do it together. No. I'll just do it later. That may take just a little while, and I don't have a lot of time left. Rather use our time more productively. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, but I'll get it set up. I'll get set up the App Store Flip the mouse so that I can get to all of the other applications. And I wonder, probably that can also work with a lot of the other Android phones, and you'll be able to use that mouse with, you know, other apps or different things that may not work so smoothly, like Signal, like WhatsApp. You know, you always have to click something, or like a CAPTCHA, you know, something like that. So that works. Let me be right back. And if you guys have any questions, please make sure to put them in there. And I'm back from the break. Just needed some water and actually checking in if the Kaios Maps app or the Kaios device was on. And it is, but the battery's low, so we're gonna just have to get into it super quick. Cancel. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the Maps app on Kaios. This is kind of like our next kind of like operating system. We've looked into the touchscreen Android devices. We looked into the non-touchscreen Android devices, but we got a recommendation to get the App Store Flip mouse, and I'm gonna get to do that. Probably by next live stream, I'll be reporting on that and as to how many phones I can install that specific mouse. So let's get to the Maps app on, this is Google Maps, by the way. So essentially, yeah, it has a lot of the functionality and a lot of the points of interest and things of that nature. But when it comes to directions, it's not going to work flawlessly. It's going to follow you, but it's not going to talk to you. It's not going to give you directions. That's kind of like a bummer, in my opinion, because it has a lot of potential, but you know, sadly, it just doesn't allow for everything. So let's go to search. Again, we're going to go Atlanta. Boom, right there. And directions. Yeah, my location. Let's get my location. We're waiting. And again, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. We'll be interacting. I only have like about an hour. No, well, I mean, it's been 55 minutes since we started. I have maybe, I don't know, about 20 minutes left. So if you guys have any very specific questions, please let me know. Gotta get going with my day. Go back to do some work. And yeah, just continue doing that. So if you have anything in specific, please let me know. And I'll try to provide timestamps. So for those of you watching again, or you want to rewatch it, then, you know, I'm going to kind of like go through some of the things that we talked about, questions, things like that, and provide as many timestamps as possible. So I think it's not getting my location. Clearly, it's taking a lot of time. So we're just going to put something else. Now we're going to go straight to direction. We're going to go to Atlanta. Oh, perfect. I closed it off. Starting point, Atlanta. Oh, okay. And we're going to go to, let's see, Chattanooga, as we saw. Or Charleston. Sure, we're going to Charleston. And boom, right there. It's going to give you drive, train or bus, walk, bicycle, etc., etc. If we choose drive, boom, you're able to zoom in or zoom out. So what happens with this specific system is that whenever you're traveling, it's going to follow you, right? Like it's going to be moving with you, but you need to also be interacting with it. So it's not going to be seamless like on the Light Phone 2 where it actually follows you and talks to you and tells you what you have to do, or like the Sunbeam, or even the AGM M7, or the Kaios, like, you know, that we just tried out, like, you know, the Kaios DureX V, of course, with the mouse. And yeah, it's good enough, but it will get you there. It will give you the directions, but you know, yeah. Anyways, again, it's not a great experience for maps, in my personal opinion. Let's see. Has there been any news on Kaios 3.0 release date? Will it ever release? Honestly, I don't know. I've been chatting with some devs, some developers. They already have the preview for Kaios 3.0. They say like a lot of you know, a lot of the changes are not that deep. They say that even some things are going backwards instead of forwards. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, and hopefully, you know, it gets better. Don't you realize most of the questions and statements here are all about extending dumbphone features to have smartphone features handicapped? It all starts looking like expensive abomination. Yeah, you know, I get your point, Max Pico. And I have kind of like asked myself, like, you know, what's the limit, right? But I think that the reason why people ask, or like, you know, they say like, I need this feature, I need that feature, is because it's something that is very necessary for their lives. Like, you know, they're not asking just to be like, hey, how many features can we cram into this specific device? But rather like, there's kind of like an intersection. And every time that we do a live stream, we talk about this, like, you know, there's kind of like an intersection in between all of these different dumbphone users, right? So for example, I'll give you an example. This is the Punked MP02, right? If you think about it, it's very simple. It doesn't have maps. It does have a GPS module, funny enough, but it doesn't have maps. It only has text, calls, things like that, right? But it has Signal. So if you're a Signal person, if you use Signal Messenger and you love using Signal Messenger, right? Then, or you feel like it's necessary because you want to use encrypted messaging instead of just SMS, then this phone is a good alternative for you, right? But if you're somebody that needs maps, like let's say, for example, look, I travel for work. Sometimes I'm in my town, and for that, I may not need to travel, right? And I can get around. I know my town is pretty small, right? But whenever I go to a different place and I get a location, either I have to take my big GPS, which I'm fine with, but there's some people that don't want to buy an extra device. They're like, hey, I want to buy one phone that has all of these features, all of these tools that helps me just continue with my life as it is. There are some kind of like difficulties in, you know, thinking like in that way. But it's kind of like just the reality that we're setting in, you know, like we used to have smartphones, at least a lot of us, you know, I used to have smartphones. I love WhatsApp because I can communicate with my family outside of the States. Would I have them use their computer and desktop in a dumb phone? Yeah, you know, I would, but that's just kind of like difficult, you know, in the world in we live. My mom, you know, she sends me WhatsApps all the time. I check them on my desktop and I have it. That's it. I don't have it on my phone, but it's kind of like, you know, different people have different requirements, and that's okay. You know, like you may only need something super basic, like the Punked MP02, for example, right? You know, I love this phone. Honestly, the only reason why I don't use this phone is because it doesn't have group text messaging. Why? Because it's necessary for my job. I get about 5 or 6 group threads every day, you know, and I'm talking with people, I'm, you know, relaying information or like just sending something, and the Light phone does have that, right? So the Light phone is my choice. I wish that, yeah, we only had that kind of like basic functionality that was all in one, but there's no phone like that yet, sadly. So yeah, it's very difficult to navigate right now because different people have different needs. But I like where it's going. So for example, let's say like the F21 Pro. The F21 Pro is a what's it called, like from Xiaomi. It's a candy bar device. It has access to some Android apps. It's pretty fast. It has a touchscreen, and you'll be able to use group text messaging, data, and all of the necessary things. So I think that that's going to be a solver for a lot of people, because you have the what's it called, like the AGM M7, for example, right? This has a touchscreen as well. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't get this device is because it's, for example, like it's too bulky, right? So people don't like that. But yeah. Let's see. You guys are, let's see. We want a candy bar with a high quality camera, some basic support. WhatsApp sometimes is required to keep in touch with families. Navigation is cool. When there's so camera in it. Well, I guess not. A candy bar is currently on a small screen. It's more simulate your smartphone features on a expensive candy bar challenge. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is like that. You're trying to get as many features as possible, but I think you can learn to live without them too. That's something that I personally have had to do because, for example, with the Light Phone 2, I only have phone calls, text, music, podcasts. That's it. And now I have maps, but I wouldn't use my Light Phone in order to go around and do all the things that I have to do, or look for a specific direction. I'll rather just use a standalone GPS. And that comes to kind of like another point that a lot of people, and this is the next device I'll be showcasing today. So I think the Kaios devices they're very good. You can use them for maps. You can use them for a lot of all these things. So I think it's going to be very good. But let me get a secondary device. This is what I've been playing around with, or like the idea. Actually, I'm going to be testing a couple of secondary devices throughout. I already have a secondary device for music where I store most of my music, but I want to play around with a Apple Watch in the near future because I think that can be a solution for a lot of people. One of you asked if I have a separate phone to talk with WhatsApp. Yes and no. So essentially what I did is I signed up for their beta that allows for phones, or for the desktop, to be standalone from the phone, so they don't have to be connected. So I set up WhatsApp on a phone. I linked it up with data, and then I don't use the phone anymore. I only use it on my desktop, and I don't have to have my phone connected all the time to the desktop. This is on the beta on the iPhone, so I just install it on an iPhone, install the beta, and boom, I have it on my desktop, and I don't need it on my phone anymore. So I just deleted it, and it still works. So it's really good. Personally, let me get to it. So another thing that a lot of people have tried to do, or that people can do, I think, is the kind of like secondary device idea. So this is like a Fio M6. This is a music player, fancy music player, if you will. It's $100. But what I kind of want to showcase is that this is Android, right? Like it's pure Android, but it doesn't have a cell phone antenna. So what I would do if I need some of these features, like second factor authentication, or kind of like installing a specific app for work or something like that, I will get one of these, like or something more advanced, depending on what you like. But I would get the, here, let me put the brightness up. Oh, it does have 100%. Perfect. So you install some of those extra applications that you need, and then you go about your day with that secondary device, and I think that's a good solution for a lot of people. I'm going to be testing an Apple Watch very soon. I'm just waiting about 20 days because I know that they're about to come down in price, because the new announcement is about to come out, right? Like, September 18 or 19. I know Apple usually releases now in September, October. So I'll just rather wait 20 days for them to drop in price and get one in order to just have that ability than pay even more, for the same device. If I could, I just waited 20 days. Yeah. So let's see, more questions. All right. How did you get into Dumbphones yourself? I personally just tried the Light Phone 2. I looked at it. I've always been interested in that kind of intersection between something that's half smart, very useful, and it's not super, like convoluted, doesn't have all the apps and stuff like that. And yeah, I just kind of like decided to go that way. I remember, in 2017, 2018, my phone usage was through the roof, like 11 hours, 12 hours sometimes, and yeah, I mean, I personally needed a break. And I remember there was this device before the Light Phone that was called Siempo, that was on a Kickstarter. And I kind of like backed it, but it didn't become a reality. And well, then the Light Phone came out, so I backed it again, and that one became a reality. And yeah, I just kind of like started getting into it, and talking with the community. That's something that's something that kind of like has helped me, I guess. Like I'm not an expert into it. I'm just kind of like just a regular guy, do my job and have like this hobby on the side. And I enjoy talking about these phones because I think there's a market for it and people need to know about it. So that's how I got into Dumbphones. Just, something that interested me. I hated being on my phone all the time. And now I have more time to read, more time to do things. I have used smartphones in this past 2 years. Yeah, from time to time, whenever it's necessary for travel or for something, especially nowadays with all of the restrictions and everything, right? But when I'm home, when I'm in my hometown, just living, and nowadays even more so, like, that the Light Phone has way more tools than when it first started. I don't need my smartphone anymore. Before it was like, oh, I like to listen to podcasts, so I took my iPhone with me. But then the Light Phone got podcasts, so I was like, okay, I don't need it anymore. Then I was like, okay, I'll take my iPhone for maps, and boom, all of a sudden now Light Phone has maps, and I don't need it anymore. Of course, I also got a big GPS, and I prefer that over any smartphone maps application personally. But yeah, that's kind of like the story, kind of like a little bit of the background. And I'm just interested in this kind of stuff. It's just interesting to me, like there's this nice intersection between digital minimalism, privacy, dumb phone users, Luddites, and just simplicity, and like all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. Let's continue. Only iPhone. Let us know when it will get to Android. Yes, I know. It's only on the iPhone right now for the beta. But I think it may be coming soon for the WhatsApp thing. So yeah. I'm all for it. They give some great stuff, like you said, camera, battery life, modern popular messenger, and email client, but none has done it, not even at a higher price. Yeah, not yet. I mean, the Xiaomi F21 Pro, I think will have enough battery life, a popular messenger, email client, and a decent camera. I don't expect any dumb phone camera to ever be good, honestly. That's one of the biggest drawbacks, and I just don't expect it to happen. It's just something that I think we're just going to have to live with, that low resolution. But as long as we have, I think, good battery life, good support for apps or like email clients, messengers, things that people need that they can customize on their own, that they're not pre-installed, or that, they don't have access to a full store, I think we'll be fine with that. Let's see. What else? The File looks awesome. Yes, it is. Yeah. So essentially the File M6 is a great device. It lasts for a long time too. It has a decent, very, very good battery life. I've enjoyed using this. I thought it was not charged, but it is. I think I charged it like maybe a couple days ago. I use it when I go to the gym, when I go on walks and I have my podcast, my kind of like audiobooks, things of that nature. And you can install other applications too. If you have the Aurora store, essentially, you're able to install different applications. And I think that helps a lot, especially if you have a specific requirement or second factor authentication and you have a dumb phone that doesn't have the ability to do that, it just kind of works. Oh, I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. There you go. Boom. Okay. Let's see. All right. Hopefully this works. Let's see. We'll just leave it there. Let's get to other things. How to be productive, in my opinion. Oof, that's a tough one. I'll say, the best way to be productive is to first organize your living space. I think personally that when you are not organized in either your living space, and this has happened to me, so I'm not judging in any way or any kind, literally I'm like, yeah, I need to organize the studio. Like there's some things here and there that I'm just like, I'm tired of seeing. But whenever you're not organized, you will be not very productive. If you're organized, you have a list of things that you're going to accomplish throughout the day. And like you just have an idea, a plan, I think it's just going to be way better for you, for your productivity, for your mental well-being. Something that I've experienced recently. I've been reading more books about not only productivity, but also like how to be more calm, peaceful, happier. And a lot of the books talk about organization, organizing your room, your clothes, making sure that, like when you wake up and if you leave your room a mess, like if you don't do your bed, that messes up with your brain, over time, because again, like it's just a messy environment. And when you're in a messy environment, you tend to think not in the best way possible, So I would say just get organized, get a routine, kind of like a plan of the things that you want to do every day. And that's going to make you more productive. If I can give you like a tip for today, I guess, something that you can start very small, it's just go organize your clothes. Like get rid of the stuff that you don't need and just organize the stuff very well, very nicely, the stuff that you need. I guess kind of like a la Marie Kondo, right? Like, kind of very nice, with all the colors, like, does it spark joy kind of a thing. But yeah, if you get organized, if your room is organized, if your space is organized, you're going to be way more productive. So that's personally what I've experienced. And every time that my room gets a mess or the studio gets a mess, I'm like, I don't want to shoot here. Like, I don't want to do a video. Yeah. So that's just personally, oh yes, it failed to build the API. I guess it's still doing that. Well, it's not updated. Maybe that's why. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this is the old store, I believe. There it is. Yeah, I think this is gonna do it faster now. It was just taking a while just because it was on the old store, I believe. Version 4. Now it's version 4, I think 4.07 or something like that. Yeah, there it is. This is the new version. Accept. But yeah, just get organized and you'll see the difference, honestly. I assure you of that. Let's see. Just ordered the F1 Orchid because of your review and I'm very excited. Hey, good luck with it. I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it too. It's a great device. I love using it. I think the only reason why I didn't stick with it is because the F1 has that paid kind of like voice to text and maps, and I'm just not looking to pay for it, especially when the Light phone has those capabilities. Well, not the voice to text yet, but it has the other capability, and I knew what's coming, so I was like, that's pretty much it. So there it is. This is the Aurora store. Yeah, I just needed to update it. I think that was the issue. But you can install an app, or two, kind of like the apps that you can install on pretty much all the device. So if you need something specific, just install it on a device like this. Go with your Go with your phone, like you have a dumb phone and you pair it up. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great solution for a lot of people. You don't need to have a full-fledged smartphone with you. but just something smaller, like cuter, I guess, to a certain degree. And I will say that the form factor really affects how you use it. When the screen is small, when you're just using it to just check really quick, you're not gonna get as addicted per se as with like a big screen and vibrant colors and all of the different features that all of these phones have, right? So this is a good pair that I've used over time. Like the light phone with the Fio M6, and whenever I need something from the Fio, like for example, I have an app here. Like the parking spot. I remember one time I was going to this place, to leave my car and stuff like that. Then, you just do the QR code thing and then you're good to go. So I personally used it before in that manner, where kind of coupled the device with something that makes it a little bit more useful. All right, let's see. A couple of extra things. Let's see. I've ordered Punked after your videos, but then I just thought I reflashed my mom's Xiaomi Note 4 with loss and cut down to 5 apps and have better battery and not €300 price tag. Yeah, some of these phones are expensive, and I get it. Like, not everybody has the disposable income to pay for them, and I personally understand that. I get it. I try to be as conscious of that as possible. I think you have to think about it. If you're going to go with a Punked, you really have to think about it as an investment. You have to think about like, yeah, it's an investment. It's something that you're dedicating, kind of like philosophically changing your paradigm and kind of like embracing a little bit of a new lifestyle. That's what I had to do with the light phone. For me, a lot of it had to be that way. Like I had to think like, okay, I'm spending $200, 200 and something. I think it was the Kickstarter, the Indiegogo, right? So I was like, it's a little bit expensive, right? Let me kind of like put into it. I believe in the mission. I believe in the company. I believe that it's going to be supported over time, and it has, and it panned out. It was kind of like a bet that I did, but it kind of worked out. But yeah, Punked is also expensive, and it doesn't work for a lot of people. There are other options. Work with what you have. Don't feel pressured into buying something that you don't need. And yeah. Besides this, guys, I'm going to be heading out in just a second, but let me see. I want to try this one ending soon. I don't know if it just changes the words. Okay, yeah, it just changes the words. Anyways, so we have the ending soon there. And something that I wanted to say is I'll be doing a giveaway on my next video. So it's going to be coming up kind of soon on that. So I'll be doing a giveaway on my next video. I'm going to be giving away a lot of the phones that I have that I just don't use, and I like to give back to the community as much as I can. I don't like to keep phones for me that I'm not going to be using. That's just something that I'm huge about, because if I'm not going to be comparing them, or if I don't feel like they have a future on the videos and the comparisons and all the things, I'd rather give it away to somebody that can use it. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the giveaways. And again, if you have any questions or anything, just make sure to comment. I'll be able to either on the Reddit, Discord, or anything else. Just make sure to put it in the comments, and I'll be interacting with you guys. But if you don't have any other questions, thanks a lot for coming today. Thanks a lot for hanging out. I'll be putting the ending soon, and after that, I'll be checking out. Thank you again. Thank you for being here, for subscribing, for supporting the channel. And if you have any suggestions or something that you want to kind of like see in the channel, more comparisons, things like that, please just let me know. And yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And hope you'll have a great day. Hope you'll have a productive day, productive week, rest of your week. For those of you in the United States, enjoy this long weekend with the what's it called? Labor Day. It's a holiday, and that stuff. Last question. Yes, F1 Pro can get WhatsApp. Yes, I believe it can. I have seen it work. Because it's Android, you can install other applications. So I believe the F1 Pro, the Xiaomi F21, not one, F21 Pro can get WhatsApp because it has that. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, make sure to put them there. I'll probably stick around for a couple minutes just on the chat. And yeah, just cut it out. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Appreciate for coming. and you can rewatch. I'll try to do the timestamps today, but can't promise anything, you know, like it's been an hour and 21 live stream, but I'll probably keep this one up. I think I'll keep it up for about a week so that people can take a look at it. I think this one came out way better than the other one the other time. It was less messy. We had, you know, kind of like more of a focus, and I'll keep kind of like making these ones a focus. Maybe try it out next time, like which one's the best T9, which one is the best texting experience or something like that, you know, just to kind of like make it more in-depth, more practical. And if people really like the video, I'll keep it up. If not, you know, I'll just take it down. I like to keep the feed very clean when it comes to reviews and everything. But if you have anything else, just make sure to comment on the other videos and I'll get to you guys, or Reddit or Discord. Yeah, thank you and appreciate it. See you guys in the next one.